Hey, Trip here from tripadvice.com, and on this video I want to do something a little bit different than I've done before. I want to share with you my online dating experience, what it was like for me to start online dating, all the way from doing online profiles to the point where I was on dating apps. And I'm going to give you some opinions and some things about online dating. I'll give you a few tips as well. And basically, the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to give you a brutally honest look at what it's like to do online dating, and then also compare it to one of my favorite ways to meet women, which is through cold approach, meaning meeting them in person and not online, comparing the two a little bit and going over some of that. So let's get into it. Now, my history of online dating goes back to all the way in 2008. So this was, at this point of this video, about 9 years ago. And 9 years ago, I started on a little website called JDate, which was for meeting Jewish girls. And I thought, well, because I'm Jewish, maybe it will be a little bit easier to meet girls who were looking for someone like me. Now, that was a really bad mentality going into it. Not because it's bad to date Jewish girls, but because I was using online dating as a crutch to not have to go up and meet girls in person. That's right. I used online dating because I did not have the courage or the confidence to go up and talk to girls, even though in my head I really wanted to. I really wanted to learn how to do cold approach, but I was just too freaked out. And at this point in 2008, 2009, online dating was becoming a lot more popular. So this is like at the time when online dating was just becoming pretty normal, where you'd be able to tell people that you met someone online and it wouldn't be so weird. Whereas you go maybe in 2005 or even early millennium, like 2001, 2000, at that point it was like still a little weird, like, oh, you're doing online dating, is that safe? So 2008 is when it started to become a little bit more normal, and I thought, you know what, at this point, I think at that point I was maybe 22, 23 years old, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna do this online dating thing, I'm gonna try it out because, of course, I wanted to meet girls. And so what ended up happening was I ended up signing up for 1 month, and that's as long as I lasted. I did 1 month of JDate, and by the way, this is not a commercial or some sort of advertisement for JDate. They're not paying me anything. I'm not gonna leave any links below for you to go sign up with them. This is just the brutally honest truth of when I started and where I started. So I started doing JDate. And I'll be honest with you, it sucked. It really did. Now, maybe it was because I didn't have, I don't know, the skills to create a really good profile or to create really good messages to start meeting up with girls, but it did work to some degree. Again, this is when I was just starting off learning about dating. I was in my early 20s trying to figure everything out, and I remember, I think I got maybe 5 to 6 dates, somewhere around there, 5 to 6 dates during my little month there on JDate. And I remember I was going after girls that I thought were in my league, and I hate using that terminology, but this is what I was thinking back then. I was just trying to meet girls that were in my league. So that meant that I was going for girls who I didn't think were super attractive, but ones that I could get. This is another issue that I see a lot of guys do, not just with online dating, but even going and approaching other girls. They kind of get the low-hanging fruit, so to speak. Again, it's all relative terms, but they're going after girls who they think they could get because they're putting girls who are really pretty on this pedestal, thinking that they're more valuable than another girl who is not, which is really terrible, terrible mindset. But that was my mindset, just like probably you and a bunch of other guys. And I was going after some girls that I thought were in my league. And of course, like I said, I got some dates and I hooked up with a few girls, and it was an interesting experience. I will say this, that entire month, the first 3 weeks, I was coming home from work, and this was before even these, before the apps, before any of the online dating apps, and before even online dating sites had their own app. So I'd come home to my desktop computer and I would be messaging girls. Now, I was getting kind of obsessed because how easy is it to just go on your computer and talk to girls and message girls? So I was doing this every single day for probably the first 2 to 3 weeks. In the 4th week, I pretty much decided that I was having enough of this and I didn't really want to continue with it because I got some dates and they weren't really working out for me. But anyway, so I messaged girls every single day, and out of all that work, I'm talking like oh geez, easily, well, if you add it all up, maybe like an hour a night, thinking every day. So what's that for 3 weeks? That's 20 hours. 20 hours. It's a lot of time. And I was doing that for 3 whole weeks. Damn. Now, I want to now compare this a little bit to meeting girls in person. And by the way, this was the last time. I don't think at this point, yeah, that was pretty much my only experience doing an online dating site, okay? Now, with that compared to cold approach, can you imagine if you put 20 hours into going out and approaching girls? First of all, you would approach probably more girls than you think you would. I would imagine it could come close, depending on how much you're like doing a copy and paste thing on an online site. I know a lot of people message hundreds and hundreds of girls, but you could end up approaching a lot of girls in person. And if I only were to focus at that point in my life 20 hours on approaching girls, I would have become really, really good. 20 hours is a lot of time. Just imagine spending 1 hour per day for 3 weeks going out there and approaching women and practicing the skills of conversation. I could guarantee you 20 hours of that would get you more than 3 to 4 dates, and you would get more quality women. Why would you get more quality women? Because a lot of the prettier girls who are on online dating sites are getting messaged a ton. They're getting hundreds and hundreds of messages, whereas a girl in person is not being approached hundreds and hundreds of times. So you're giving yourself a better shot. Plus, you're already coming off very confident, extremely courageous for even starting the conversation with a girl in person. Now, mind you, I'm not trying to completely disregard online dating. This is not a video against online dating. I'm just kind of comparing the two in terms of how they match up. I think online dating is great. I just want guys to be using online dating for the right reasons, okay? I was not using online dating for the right reasons. I was doing it because I was scared. And of course, what ended up happening was I went on some of these dates and, you know, some of them were okay. Like I said, I hooked up with a few girls, but at the end of the day, I still wasn't fully prepared for these dates because I wasn't used to talking to girls in person. So that's why I don't like guys to just be using the apps and online dating sites to meet women, because you eventually have to meet them in person. I like to say you want to spread yourself between all different options. Do some online dating, do some apps, and also do cold approaching. I'd probably break it down to about 70, 15, 15. This is again if you're using all the options, right? So 70, 15, 15. 70% going out and doing cold approach, 15% apps, and 15% on the online dating sites. Now I'll tell you a little bit about the next phase of my dating life. I'm not gonna go too far into it because again, we're talking only about online dating, but the next phase after that was me finally pushing myself to go out and approach girls and do this cold approach thing, because at the end of the day, I wasn't meeting the kinds of women that I wanted. I wanted to meet higher quality women. I was not finding that or knowing how to find that on online dating at the time. So then I pushed myself to go out multiple nights per week and talk to girls and do this completely sober. So that was like the next phase of my life. And I didn't touch online dating for maybe another year or so. Now I remember. Another year or so, and then I went to Plenty of Fish. And that's still around. So Plenty of Fish was another online dating site. And I used that, again, not as a crutch, but as an addition. It was a compliment to me already going out and meeting women. I actually met who is now a very close friend of mine from there, a girl I dated for a minute. And that was cool. But again, wasn't really finding the quality that I wanted. So I did that for a little bit longer and did some online dating there and used it more as a compliment to, again, to doing more cold approaching. And I found that it was a good compliment. It was something that was good, that I was keeping it on the side, but I wasn't using it as my main tool. Again, I'm sure you're seeing a theme here in terms of what I'm talking about, that online dating is great, but is not the only way to go. Now, after that, after Plenty of Fish, and I was probably using that around 2009, 2010, I decided to focus more on cold approaching again and meeting women in person. So from there, I ended up getting into a relationship for a little while, so I wasn't doing any online dating and any cold approaching. And then it was 2 years ago that I finally decided to try out the apps. Now with these apps, I found that it was very, very interesting because this is like online dating on steroids, right? Because you can go through so many profiles very quickly, whereas online dating, it takes a little bit, you're searching a little bit more, you're kind of perusing some of the bios and things like that in the pictures. But here, as you know, I'm sure you've used apps before, you're swiping, you're doing a lot of that, and you're meeting a lot of girls. Now this was really cool. I actually had a very good experience with the apps because I met a lot more girls. At this point in my life, I was a little bit more, well, a lot more confident and was going after girls that I was actually attracted to and not girls that I just thought that I could get. And I did a lot of the app dating and met a lot of great girls, some also not so great, went on some really shitty dates, but also met some amazing people, even people that I still keep in contact with today as general friends. But again, it was a very positive experience for me. However, I still found that I was meeting even better girls in person. Now, I don't know why. I have a little bit of a theory. I think that in terms of the apps, in terms of online dating, unless, well, I guess it all depends on what kinds of girls you're going after, but unless you're a very good-looking guy and have great pictures, it's gonna be pretty tough for you to match with girls. Now, I know that goes along with the idea that looks matter, which they don't, but that's all that the girls can base you on when they're looking at apps, right? All they can do is go through the apps and they can see, you know, oh, this guy's attractive and this guy's not so attractive, and then maybe there's like a witty little profile. So they don't have any choice but to just focus on the actual looks aspect. Again, it doesn't mean that looks really matter, because they don't. It's not about how you look, it's more about how you act with them and how your personality is, and it's all about the way you display your personality. And so that goes a longer way with women in person than it does over the apps. So I also think, again, apps are great, you should be using them, trying them out, why not? You can do that and it's pretty easy to do on your phone. However, if you're not a generally good-looking guy, if you're just a guy who's not, you know, generally attractive, again, very subjective, you're gonna have a very hard time. You're gonna have a very hard time because there's gonna be a lot of girls who are not gonna be swiping yes on you. And I, just being brutally honest here, right? It's kind of a loser's game. It's sort of a loser's game for me. I mean, I was getting some girls, but the girls I was really super attracted to that I was swiping right on didn't really work out. And again, I wasn't coming down on myself, I just know the truth. Like, if you're not an amazing, good-looking guy, it's gonna be tough for you to get the types of results that you really want on these apps. Now again, there's obviously exceptions here. I know a lot of guys who are, you know, maybe not generally attractive looking guys, but still they're able to do very well on the app. So it can happen. That's why I'm not throwing those out of the window either. Those are something you should use. Again, going back to my little percentage breakdown, 70, 15, 15, 70% going out meeting women in person, 15% doing an online dating profile like OkCupid or JDate or Match or Plenty of Fish, whatever, and then doing a couple of apps. So that was my summer a couple years ago of doing online dating apps, and it was fun. It's definitely something that's pretty awesome when you first start it, because you're like, whoa, this is so cool. You're just swiping through all these profiles. But it gets pretty annoying after that. And then that was pretty much it in terms of apps. I have not done any apps for many years. I deleted a lot of the apps, and well, all of the apps. I don't have any apps on my phone anymore, and I'm just focused on going out and meeting girls in person. Now, I do have a blog post where I put out some of my best tips that I've learned and I've collected over the years in terms of building a great online dating profile. I'm actually looking at it right now here on my computer. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a link to that in the description below. It's called 3 Brutally Honest Online Dating Profile Critiques, where I actually go in and do some critiques on some profiles so you can learn how to create an awesome profile if you are on online dating. And some of these also go to the apps as well, because really at the end of the day, when we're talking about online dating, it's just profiles and it's your pictures, and that's pretty much it. So I give some pretty good tips here. Again, I'm gonna put that link in the description below. This is just a blog post that I wrote a little while back, actually a couple of years ago. So check that out if you wanna learn more about that. But basically, in conclusion here, I really just wanted to share with you what my online dating experience was like, so you can just get a sense of what it's like, what it was like for me, and really give you some perspective on the different ways to meet girls. Because as you can tell, again, I've said this a billion times, I want you to focus more on cold approaching. Not against online dating, but I want it to be minimized because I know, because I'm you, I know that a lot of guys are using that because it's easy. But at the end of the day, be honest with yourself. Are you really going after and are you really attracting the girls from the sites and from the apps that you really want? If you are, great, then use that. Still go out and approach, but use that if it's working great for you. But if it's not, and you can sit here and you can really tell yourself, Trip, I'm not really getting the results I want, then I want you to rethink the whole online dating thing. Because like I said, it's not everything. There are other ways to meet women. It's just so easy these days because from our phones we can now order pizzas, we can do shopping, and we can meet girls, and it makes it so convenient. But question if it is the right move for you. Okay, that's it. That's my online dating experience. Go check out some more tips on how to create an awesome profile in the blog post that I'm putting in the description below. Just a little link for you. Like this video and comment below. What do you think? Tell me some about your online dating experience. How has it worked for you? Has it been awesome? What are some of your troubles? Let's have the conversation below in the comments. So go ahead, write that down below. I'll see you on the next video.